Tubi is commonly known as the place to find such movies as Evil Bong and Sharktopus, but if you take the time to dig through their confounding algorithm, you'll find that they also provide immediate access to historically significant cinematic gems. This is Tubi Classic Movies, highlighting the groundbreaking and highly influential masterpieces that are freely available to dissect, while Tubi has the rights to them. Our pick today is a fantastic 8.5, directed by the brilliant Federico Fellini. On its surface, this is a film about filmmaking. It's a character study of a celebrated movie director, Guido Anselmi, dealing with a creative block while he's facing mounting pressures from the studio and his own internal expectations over his next eagerly awaited picture. He's at a wellness spa with the hope that he can clear his head, but many of the cast and crew are there as well, hounding him for any details about the upcoming production. To make matters worse, he invites his mistress to stay in a nearby hotel, while also asking his wife to come join him. Maybe he hopes this collision of all facets of his life will jar some profound inspiration. But in his pursuit of searching for meaning or a truth to express in his film, he can't seem to be honest with the people around him, or even himself. Where this movie was groundbreaking is in a stream of conscious visual storytelling. We follow Guido through his dreams, dipping in and out of his real life and his memories, his fantasies, his daydreams. This film is where we see the beginnings of the whimsical Fellini-esque style that the director is known for. Fellini got his start in the post-war neo-realist era of Italian filmmaking, where the focus was on authentic struggles faced by everyday people. In his early films, Fellini took that style and applied it to fantastic people such as circus performers and prostitutes. And when he turned his focus on the supposed sweet life of Italian high society from the perspective of a paparazzo with La Dolce Vita, he was met with international acclaim. And with that success, so too came the pressure of what would be the follow-up. Fresh off the success of La Dolce Vita, Fellini wrote on a letter to a colleague about the loose outline of his next film about a guy suffering from a creative block, but he had no clue what profession to base the story around. A screenwriter suggested it be called La Bella Confusione, or The Beautiful Confusion, but Fellini toyed with the idea of simply calling it comedy. Ultimately, under pressure, he settled on 8.5, which was self-referential since this would technically be Fellini's 8.5 film, counting his work in anthologies. He was given the order to start production, he signed deals with his producer, fixed dates, cast the lead roles, did screen tests, hired crew, all the while only knowing the name of his main character, Guido. He had begun to write a letter to his producer with the intention of abandoning the project, when he was interrupted by a crew member to come to the set to celebrate the launch of the production. From the book Fellini on Film, he remembers that as he raised a toast to the crew, he felt overwhelmed by shame. I was in a no-exit situation. I was a director who wanted to make a film he no longer remembers. And lo and behold, at that very moment, everything fell into place. I got straight to the heart of the film. I would narrate everything that had been happening to me. I would make a film telling the story of a director who no longer knows what film he wanted to make. And with this we learned there's an added meta-narrative to this film. Meta-cinema, or movies about movies, had come before 8.5, but would more focus on backstage themes. And we get that here, but it's the fourth wall breaking visual storytelling that's groundbreaking and influential. And we have Guido experiencing a creative block, trying to make a sci-fi film, with the film he's failing to make ultimately becoming the film the audience is watching, with the line between fiction and reality blurring as Fellini incorporates his own memories, dreams, and fantasies. It became widely influential for other filmmakers, with the legendary director and notorious TikToker Martin Scorsese saying of it, 8.5 has always been a touchstone for me in so many ways. The freedom, the sense of invention, the underlying rigor, and the deep core of longing, the bewitching physical pull of the camera movements and the compositions. But it also offers an uncanny portrait of the artist of the moment, trying to tune out all the pressure, and the criticism, and the adulation, and the requests, and the advice, and find the space and the calm to simply listen to oneself. But beyond the meta-narrative, Fellini employs spellbinding techniques for his fourth wall-breaking feat of bringing us inside Guido's head, but you'll have to pay attention because the transition from reality into an altered state can be easy to miss. When Roger Ebert added the movie to his great movies list, he explained, "It does what is almost impossible. Fellini is a magician who discusses, reveals, explains, and deconstructs his tricks while still fooling us with them. He claims he doesn't know what he wants or how to achieve it, and the film proves he knows exactly, and rejoices in his knowledge." This is the movie where he started to break free of neo-realist constraints and focus on internal landscapes rather than external reality. It was a successful blend of surrealist style he'd become known for, while still being rooted in the humanistic and observational work from the start of his career. So when you watch this movie, keep a few things in mind. Guido is a director. He's used to control, being able to tell people what to do, be able to tell a story that suits him. Does he try to impose that control onto his own life? Does he try to tell a convincing story that he doesn't even believe? As a user on Letterboxd noted, "Oh, I get it. It's about a boy." And while it's a simplistic framing, it's pretty spot on. With his desire to possess and devour everything, it highlights his indecisiveness in both creative and romantic direction, while still wanting the devotion of all. And you'll notice the camera lingering on older background actors, which amplifies Guido's insecurities. Could he be in the middle of a midlife crisis, all while he's trying to avoid accountability or responsibility for the mess he's in by escaping into his own mind? But keep in mind the notion of ego death, and the acceptance that life is chaotic and imperfect, a circus if you will. And above all, remember what Fellini wrote on a piece of tape that he stuck near the viewfinder of the camera, that this is a comic film. Enjoy this celebration of the creative process that often appears in many greatest movie lists while it's free on Tubi. And then comment below with your thoughts or insights on the movie. and consider subscribing to see what movies we'll showcase next time. Until then, happy streaming.